Here's the beginning of a long-form exploration on overcoming laziness, which could lead into a detailed 5,000-word essay on cultivating productivity, self-discipline, and motivation. Let me know if you'd like it structured in a particular way or with a specific focus, and I can continue from here. Laziness is one of the most pervasive obstacles to realizing one's potential. For many, it is not an issue of ability or intelligence, but rather the tendency to procrastinate, to seek comfort, and to avoid the challenges that come with hard work and discipline. Laziness often hides under different names: comfort, leisure, even self-care, but in reality, it can become a thief of time, a barrier to achieving one's dreams, and a state of inertia that keeps us from moving toward our goals. To kill laziness is to break out of this inertia, to recognize that comfort is often the enemy of growth, and that growth requires discomfort. This is not to say that rest is unimportant. In fact, rest is crucial for sustainable productivity. However, true rest is earned after work is done, not as an escape from it. By setting a clear goal and relentlessly pursuing it, we begin to reshape our minds and habits to resist the temptation of laziness. When tackling laziness, the first step is to recognize and acknowledge its presence. Many people deny their lazy tendencies by masking them with excuses or rationalizing why they did not take action. "I'll do it tomorrow" becomes a familiar refrain. But if tomorrow never comes, and if each day brings the same unfulfilled intentions, it's essential to confront this cycle and ask, why am I avoiding this task? Often, the fear of failure, perfectionism, or simple discomfort with change is at the root. These underlying causes must be understood to develop the resilience needed to push forward. Building discipline is the next crucial step. Discipline is the bedrock upon which motivation can build. Discipline is often misunderstood as a harsh, joyless regimen, but it is actually a tool of liberation. A disciplined person can choose to work even when they do not feel like it, because they have built the mental muscles to overcome their immediate impulses. Just as physical muscles grow with consistent training, discipline strengthens when exercised regularly. Each time we choose to work over slacking, we reinforce our discipline. These small decisions accumulate, creating a habit of resilience. To maintain discipline, creating a routine is essential. A routine gives structure to our days and removes much of the decision-making that can drain willpower. When we have to decide over and over again whether to work, we are more likely to choose the path of least resistance. A routine, however, takes away this indecision. It is simply what we do every day. Waking up at a set time, planning tasks for the day, setting aside blocks of time for work, and taking breaks at regular intervals form a rhythm that propels us forward. Routines also make it easier to track progress, giving a sense of accomplishment that motivates us to keep going. In overcoming laziness, goals act as the compass guiding our efforts. But goals alone are not enough. They must be clear, specific, and broken down into manageable steps. Large, vague ambitions like be successful or get fit are often intimidating and paralyzing, leading us to avoid starting at all. Instead, setting concrete, measurable goals like write 500 words a day or exercise for 30 minutes each morning makes the path forward more tangible and achievable. By focusing on small, consistent steps, we avoid the overwhelming nature of big tasks. Momentum builds as each small accomplishment fuels the next. A powerful weapon against laziness is a sense of purpose. When we know why we are doing something, the work becomes meaningful rather than burdensome. If we feel connected to the impact of our efforts, whether for our own growth, for loved ones, or for a broader mission, we are more willing to endure discomfort. Purpose gives resilience against the inevitable challenges, mistakes, and setbacks. When our motivation is only superficial or material, it easily falters in the face of obstacles. But a purpose-driven person is less swayed by temporary moods or difficulties. They understand that their actions serve a greater aim. Additionally, the environment we create for ourselves plays a significant role in either nurturing or hindering productivity. A cluttered, chaotic space often mirrors a cluttered, unfocused mind, and distractions sap our energy and attention. By organizing our surroundings and removing temptations, we create a space conducive to focus. Digital distractions, in particular, are notorious for fragmenting our attention. Each time we check a notification, scroll through social media, or indulge in another episode of a show, we reinforce the habit of distraction. Therefore, managing screen time, setting up no-phone zones, or using productivity tools can help reclaim focus. Another important aspect of overcoming laziness is accountability. Often, working alone can make it too easy to abandon our goals. Sharing our intentions with others or finding a mentor or accountability partner can increase our commitment. When we know someone else is watching or waiting to hear our progress, we're less likely to give in to laziness. Accountability can be a powerful motivator, whether it's a friend who checks in, a group that shares similar goals, or even a public commitment online. The feeling of responsibility to others reinforces our own commitment and helps prevent us from slipping into old habits. This external expectation, combined with our internal desire to grow, creates a positive tension that drives us forward. When we don't want to let others down, we become more resilient, pushing through even when our willpower wanes. Accountability serves as both support and gentle pressure, reminding us of our dedication to our goals. But accountability also requires self-honesty. We have to be willing to admit when we haven't met our goals or when we let laziness slip in. It's tempting to make excuses, to explain away our failures as temporary or unavoidable, but this only hinders growth. Embracing responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable, allows us to learn from our setbacks instead of being defeated by them. Each time we confront a failure with honesty, we gain insight into our behaviors and tendencies, equipping us with the knowledge to make different choices in the future. This self-awareness is the bedrock of lasting change. Self-compassion is also essential in the fight against laziness. Often, people get caught in a cycle of guilt and self-criticism when they fall short, which ironically can lead to more avoidance and procrastination. Instead of berating ourselves for not being perfect, we need to recognize that setbacks are part of any journey. By treating ourselves with understanding and patience, we allow room for growth. Self-compassion is not an excuse for laziness. Rather, it's the foundation for resilience. When we know that we'll support ourselves, even when we stumble, we're more willing to take risks and strive toward our goals.
This leads to the importance of celebrating progress, no matter how small. Every step forward, every little task completed, deserves recognition. Celebrating progress reinforces the satisfaction of achieving, and each success, no matter how minor, becomes a motivator. People often delay their celebrations, waiting for some monumental achievement, but this only makes the journey feel daunting. By acknowledging each milestone, we build momentum. Positive reinforcement strengthens our motivation and makes it easier to continue. However, true progress demands that we not only celebrate successes, but also learn from failures. Each time we fall short, it's an opportunity to reflect and adjust our approach. Laziness often wins when we repeat the same mistakes without making changes. If we notice that we keep avoiding certain tasks or giving up at specific stages, we need to examine why. Are we intimidated by the task? Is it too vague or too overwhelming? Identifying these patterns enables us to adapt our strategies, ensuring we're better prepared to tackle similar challenges in the future. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, we can view them as stepping stones, guiding us toward greater self-awareness and resilience. One of the most effective ways to kill laziness is by mastering the art of focusing on the present moment. Laziness often thrives when our minds are scattered, worried about the future or regretting the past. By practicing mindfulness, we bring our attention fully to the task at hand, reducing distractions and heightening engagement. When we're deeply focused, work feels less burdensome, and we're less likely to drift into avoidance. Mindfulness can be cultivated through practices like meditation, deep breathing, or even simple reminders to refocus throughout the day. The more we train our minds to stay present, the less power laziness holds over us. Cultivating an active lifestyle also plays a crucial role in overcoming laziness. Physical movement has a direct impact on mental energy and motivation. When we engage in regular exercise, whether it's a walk, a workout, or even stretching, our bodies become energized and our minds become more alert. Physical activity reduces stress, boosts mood, and helps regulate sleep, all factors that directly influence our productivity. A sedentary lifestyle, on the other hand, often drains energy and can make laziness feel unavoidable. By making movement a non-negotiable part of our day, we create a foundation of vitality that fuels our ability to stay focused and motivated. Another effective strategy is to cultivate a mindset of action over planning. Many people fall into the trap of overthinking or planning every detail before they even begin. While planning is essential, it can also become a form of procrastination if it prevents action. Often, it's better to start imperfectly than to wait for the perfect moment or plan. Action builds momentum, and with each small accomplishment, our confidence grows. Over time, we realize that we're capable of more than we initially thought. Taking even the smallest step forward each day teaches us that progress is possible, and this mindset gradually replaces the impulse to delay. To effectively kill laziness, we must also confront and manage our fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of not being good enough can paralyze us, making avoidance feel like the safest option. But avoiding challenges doesn't make fear disappear. It only reinforces our insecurities. The only way to weaken fear's grip is to face it directly. By taking on small, manageable challenges that push our boundaries, we build courage over time. Each time we prove to ourselves that we can handle discomfort or risk, we become less afraid and more willing to tackle bigger goals. Embracing failure as a learning experience rather than a verdict on our worth allows us to act with greater freedom and enthusiasm. Developing a growth mindset is vital in the journey to overcome laziness. When we view our abilities as fixed, we may feel discouraged by challenges or setbacks. But with a growth mindset, we understand that skills and abilities can be developed through effort. This perspective makes us more resilient and less likely to give up in the face of difficulty. We see setbacks as opportunities to improve, not as evidence of failure. Each time we practice a skill or push through a challenging task, we're reinforcing our belief in our ability to grow. This mindset not only combats laziness, but also opens up new possibilities for learning and achievement. Lastly, surrounding ourselves with positive influences can significantly impact our ability to stay motivated. If we spend time with people who are also working toward their goals, we are more likely to stay focused on our own. Positive influences remind us of what's possible and inspire us to aim higher. On the other hand, if we're constantly around people who encourage procrastination or negativity, it's easy to slip into the same patterns. By choosing relationships and environments that support our aspirations, we create a network of encouragement and accountability that strengthens our resolve. Killing laziness is not a one-time effort, but a continuous journey. It requires self-awareness, resilience, and a willingness to confront our weaknesses honestly. There will always be moments when laziness tries to creep back in, tempting us with the allure of comfort and ease. But each time we resist this pull, we grow stronger. With every small step, every act of discipline, we build a life of purpose, fulfillment, and growth. In the end, overcoming laziness is about more than achieving goals. It's about becoming the person who relentlessly pursues their best self. Choosing to kill laziness is ultimately about reclaiming control over our lives, about deciding who we want to be rather than letting circumstances or temporary feelings dictate our actions. Laziness is seductive because it offers the illusion of ease, but that ease is fleeting and deceptive. Avoiding work or postponing difficult tasks often leads to a sense of guilt, anxiety, and frustration that undermines our happiness in the long run. In contrast, the satisfaction that comes from putting in effort and making progress, however small, builds a sense of fulfillment and pride that no amount of avoidance can match. One powerful realization in overcoming laziness is understanding that motivation often follows action rather than preceding it. People tend to wait for a burst of motivation before beginning a task, but in reality, starting a task, even when unmotivated, often sparks the motivation to keep going. This is known as the do something principle. When we begin, we create momentum that propels us forward. Instead of waiting to feel ready or inspired, we commit to taking that first step, knowing that motivation often appears only after we have begun. To reinforce this approach, it's helpful to break down tasks into the smallest possible actions. When a project or goal feels overwhelming, the brain interprets it as a threat, and procrastination becomes a defense mechanism. But by focusing only on the first small step, writing a single sentence, doing 5 minutes of exercise, or organizing one small area, our brains no longer see the task as insurmountable. This concept, often referred to as chunking, makes large goals feel manageable and removes the mental barrier of intimidation. Once the first small step is completed, the next one becomes easier, and before long, we find ourselves in the flow of the task. Equally important is the practice of habit stacking. Habit stacking is a technique of pairing a new habit we want to develop with an existing one, making it easier to integrate positive actions into our daily routines. For example, if we want to begin meditating daily but struggle to start, we can stack the habit onto something we already do, like brushing our teeth in the morning. This way, the established habit triggers the new one, creating a seamless routine that requires less mental effort. Habit stacking builds consistency, and as we establish a rhythm, it becomes easier to maintain momentum without relying on fleeting bursts of willpower. As we kill laziness, we also cultivate a sense of self-trust. Every time we set a goal and follow through, we strengthen our belief in our own reliability. Self-trust is crucial because it fuels our confidence and resilience. It teaches us that we can rely on ourselves to do what we say we will. When we repeatedly break promises to ourselves by procrastinating or avoiding responsibilities, we erode that self-trust, leading to self-doubt and insecurity. But when we commit to small actions consistently, we rebuild that trust, reinforcing a cycle of confidence and accomplishment. We come to see ourselves as capable and dependable, which in turn motivates us to take on even greater challenges. Another tool in combating laziness is visualization. Visualization is a technique in which we vividly imagine ourselves completing our tasks or achieving our goals. By mentally rehearsing our actions and visualizing the positive outcomes, we prime our minds to recognize and act on opportunities that align with our goals. Visualization can also reduce anxiety about challenging tasks because we've practiced them mentally beforehand, making them feel more achievable. When we imagine the satisfaction and benefits of completing a task, we remind ourselves of why we're working toward it, which strengthens our resolve to take action. To keep laziness at bay, it's essential to stay connected to our why, the deeper reason behind our goals. Often, laziness sets in when we lose sight of why a task or goal matters. Reconnecting with our underlying motivation can reignite our sense of purpose and renew our drive. For instance, studying might feel tedious until we remember that our education is a stepping stone toward a career we're passionate about. Exercising may feel like a chore, but when we focus on the energy, health, and vitality it brings to our lives, the effort becomes meaningful. Regularly reminding ourselves of the why behind our actions keeps our commitment strong and helps us push through moments of resistance. In the process of overcoming laziness, it's also valuable to reward ourselves for progress. Rewards don't have to be elaborate or expensive. They can be as simple as enjoying a favorite snack, taking a short break, or spending time on a hobby. These small incentives give us something to look forward to, reinforcing positive behavior. Rewarding ourselves isn't about indulging in excess. It's about acknowledging our effort and progress. Each time we follow through on a task and celebrate that action, we create a positive association with productivity, making it more likely that we'll repeat the behavior in the future. Equally, we need to recognize and mitigate the negative habits that fuel laziness. Often, laziness is sustained by activities that provide instant gratification but add little value to our lives, like mindless scrolling on social media, excessive screen time, or other distractions. These habits hijack our attention and can drain our motivation, leaving us feeling sluggish and unproductive. By limiting our exposure to these distractions and setting boundaries around activities that don't serve our goals, we free up mental and emotional energy for the things that truly matter. It may be challenging at first, but over time, reducing these distractions can create space for more meaningful, fulfilling actions. In addition to removing negative habits, replacing them with positive rituals can create a more productive environment. For example, beginning the day with a structured morning routine sets a proactive tone for the hours ahead. Simple rituals like making the bed, drinking water, or spending a few moments planning the day can enhance focus and prepare us mentally for the tasks ahead. When we create a series of rituals that support our goals, we make productivity feel natural rather than forced. These small actions signal to our minds that we are in work mode, helping us build momentum from the very start of the day. As we continue this journey, we begin to see that laziness is not an unchangeable trait, but a habit that can be broken. By cultivating discipline, building routines, and finding meaning in our actions, we reshape our relationship with work and effort. This process transforms our lives in ways that go beyond mere productivity. Killing laziness allows us to experience a fuller, richer life, one in which we actively pursue our dreams rather than passively watching opportunities slip by. We become creators of our lives, rather than spectators. Overcoming laziness is ultimately about self-respect. It's about respecting our time, our goals, and our potential. Each day, each moment, we have a choice to take steps toward becoming the person we want to be or to remain stagnant. Embracing this choice with intention and commitment allows us to unlock possibilities we may have never thought achievable. Killing laziness is a journey that requires effort, but the rewards growth, accomplishment, confidence, and fulfillment are more than worth it. When we kill our laziness, we're not only freeing ourselves from inertia, we're stepping into our power, transforming into the best version of ourselves, and ultimately creating a life of purpose, joy, and unshakable self-belief. Stepping into our power and killing laziness isn't simply about achieving more in a traditional sense. It's about the freedom we gain to pursue what genuinely matters to us without the constraints of self-doubt or hesitation. Laziness binds us to a limited version of ourselves, one that's content to settle and drift through life without fully engaging. But as we build momentum, setting intentions and following through, we begin to experience life with a sense of presence and vibrancy. The world opens up, and so do our possibilities. One of the most profound outcomes of overcoming laziness is a strengthened sense of self-mastery. When we control our actions, rather than being controlled by fleeting moods or impulses, we start to trust our ability to shape our reality. This self-mastery doesn't mean life becomes easy or that challenges disappear, but it gives us a solid foundation. We know we have the power to navigate whatever comes our way. Challenges become less intimidating, not because they're any smaller, but because we're stronger. Each act of discipline, every instance of following through, and each decision to act despite discomfort further reinforces our belief in our own capabilities. As we continue to fight laziness, we also start to cultivate a deeper resilience. This resilience allows us to push through not only laziness, but also the difficulties and setbacks that inevitably arise in any journey. Laziness often disguises itself as self-protection, encouraging us to avoid tasks that feel challenging or uncomfortable. But avoiding these challenges only reinforces a habit of avoidance. By facing them head-on, we develop the mental toughness needed to tackle future obstacles with greater ease. Resilience becomes a natural outcome of consistently choosing to act, to push forward even when the easier path is to step back. A further reward of killing laziness is the clarity it brings to our lives. Laziness has a way of clouding our minds with doubts and endless what-ifs. When we avoid tasks, they tend to linger in our minds, taking up valuable mental space. Procrastination doesn't just delay progress, it keeps our minds in a state of constant tension. But when we make it a habit to act, to take care of what needs doing, we create mental clarity. Our minds become more focused, and we feel less weighed down by unfinished business. This clarity helps us see our priorities more clearly, and we're better able to discern what truly deserves our energy and what does not. This clarity brings another benefit: time. When we overcome laziness, we reclaim hours that were once lost to procrastination or distractions. Time is one of our most precious resources, and every hour we lose to avoidance is an hour we can never get back. By acting with intention, we maximize our time, making space for the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. Time spent procrastinating often leaves us feeling drained, but time spent pursuing meaningful goals and activities recharges us. As we become more intentional with our time, we realize that life isn't just about doing more, but about doing what truly matters. In this pursuit of a life free from laziness, we also come to appreciate the beauty of progress over perfection. Many people are paralyzed by the fear of not being good enough or of not achieving perfection, and this fear feeds into laziness. But when we learn to value progress no matter how small, we release ourselves from the burden of perfectionism. Each step, each bit of progress, builds on the last. This shift in mindset reminds us that growth is a journey, and that every step forward, however imperfect, is valuable. Progress becomes its own reward, reinforcing our motivation and making it easier to continue taking action. Additionally, killing laziness teaches us the importance of self-discipline in all aspects of life. Discipline isn't just about forcing ourselves to work or sticking to a schedule. It's about cultivating habits that align with our values and goals. Discipline allows us to make choices based on our long-term desires, rather than on immediate comfort. It's what enables us to invest in our health, relationships, career, and personal growth, even when the results aren't instantly visible. Discipline, built over time, becomes second nature, giving us the freedom to create a life that reflects our aspirations rather than our excuses. As we develop these habits of discipline, we also start to notice a change in how we perceive ourselves. Killing laziness transforms our self-image, moving us from a place of self-doubt to one of self-respect. Each time we resist laziness and choose action, we're casting a vote for the person we want to be. We're telling ourselves that we are capable, that we are committed, and that we respect our potential. Over time, this consistent self-affirmation reshapes our identity. We begin to see ourselves as proactive, determined individuals who are in control of their lives, and this new self-perception fuels further action. In this process of transformation, gratitude becomes an unexpected ally. As we eliminate laziness and take charge of our lives, we naturally become more grateful for each accomplishment, each lesson, and each step forward. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we're building and achieving. When we're grateful, we're less likely to feel resentful or burdened by our responsibilities. Instead, we see them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Gratitude, combined with discipline and self-respect, creates a powerful mindset that propels us forward and deepens our sense of purpose. Finally, killing laziness leads to a life lived with intention. Instead of drifting through our days, passively reacting to whatever comes, we take charge. We make choices based on our goals, values, and dreams. We become creators of our lives, rather than mere participants. This intentionality brings a sense of fulfillment and purpose that is unmatched by any temporary comfort or avoidance. Each day becomes an opportunity to contribute, to grow, and to live in alignment with who we truly want to be. In the end, killing laziness isn't just about achieving more. It's about reclaiming our lives and stepping into our full potential. It's about embracing a journey of growth, of choosing effort over ease, of choosing to create rather than consume. It's about crafting a life that feels meaningful and aligned with our highest aspirations. Overcoming laziness transforms us, not only by making us more productive, but by helping us discover who we are and who we can become. When we look back, we realize that the fight against laziness wasn't just about accomplishing goals. It was about learning to value ourselves enough to show up every day. It was about choosing to live with courage, to take ownership of our lives, and to move forward with confidence. Killing laziness is a commitment to live fully, to embrace the challenges and the joys, and to make the most of the time we're given. In doing so, we not only kill laziness, but awaken to a life of purpose, potential, and endless possibility.